Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the New Order, Last Days of Europe, with me, Alpha Omega, and Empire of Japan. So we ended the last episode when we finished the first focus report to the Empire. Actually it's the second focus, but it's the first one that we actually had the chance to research ourselves. And now we're working on Show the Public, which should help us with the Conservatives' faction power and the public approval. But we'll see how it will be when it comes. In the meantime, we got two events here. The first one is the importance of Manchurian steel. Manchuria had been a prized possession of Japan for many decades now. The vast tons of steel located in said northeastern region of China had become the cornerstone stock for the entire co-prosperity sphere. Iron would be mined from the earth in huge quantities and then brought to the cities in the south to be smelted and processed. From there, the steel would be shipped across the rest of the sphere. Day after day, week after week, the demand for Manchurian steel never ceased. In fact, it only seemed to grow more insistent by the hour. Steel was a pillar upon which nearly every part of modern existence was built. With Manchuria having no real competition in terms of steel production, it was vital to ensure that all was well with the economy there. Should it fall behind, then the precarious web of supply and demand could easily start to unravel. The local Manchurian government was required to make regular and particularly detailed reports into the financial situations of the steel industry. While the steel was still in Manchuria, it was kept closely guarded through its entire journey. It was not uncommon for the military to directly oversee the transportation of some shipments, even going as far as to station soldiers on board along with the occasional Navy warship. It became something of a common joke to claim that stealing state secrets was easier than running off with a single steel bar. The time for another report soon approaches. And Sukiyaki. Kyu Sakamoto has, almost overnight, become one of the most recognizable figures in Japan. At least his voice was. His new song, Ue o Muite Aruko, I Look Up As I Walk, now plays on radios all across the nation. A whole citizenry enraptured by the smooth timbre of his voice and the gentle sadness of the lyrics. It's a song of lost love, but not a mournful one, full of regret and hope in equal measure. The song's appeal has not been constrained by national borders. It was popularized across the sphere as part of the Home Ministry's push to spread contemporary Japanese culture among its allies. It even became popular within the United States, despite their government's hostility to Japanese exports of all kinds. In Anglophone countries, the song was renamed Sukiyaki after the beef hot pot dish, in an attempt to make the title shorter and more recognizably Japanese. The bright beauty of the song speaks to people from Tokyo to Washington, reminds them that despite their differences, they all know the pain of longing and the pale ache of lost love. Happiness lies beyond the clouds. Well, if you want to improve relations, we'll soon be able to. And we can now guarantee the support of at least 233 MPs, and we need 233. So, improving the relations of conservatives, independents, or reformists would be a good idea. I probably don't know what it's gonna do when we improve relations with ourselves. But we'll see. Anyway, we are still at war with the what's it called? UMAJF, and they have been pushing us quite heavily recently. So we sent an additional division there. It is coming, or is it there already? No, it is coming. This is the army group. And what more, I was actually thinking, we have united all of our units in our home port, so we can do a little bit of a thing here, because we have sent the air squadron over Wait, actually, this is... Yep, let's split the submarines and we'll have those as a separate fleet that we will deal with. But in the meantime, I think we can actually split the carriers and the destroyers and send these over here. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, but I have a feeling that we might be able to use the airplanes on board and the carriers to support our operations here. If that works, I've never really tried that, to be quite honest. So I don't know if it's gonna work, but we can certainly try. With that said, let us unpause the game and see what's gonna happen here. We've already sent our aircraft here, so they're gonna fight with the enemies. Yep, it's 51% for us. That's really nice. Wow, they really keep us pushing. Okay, so let's repay them in kind. You guys go back. We need to get in there and make sure that we win this one, because this fight... And they keep attacking us. Yeah, what's very important is that they are bleeding out their equipment, which we aren't. So the longer this conflict is going to continue, the better it is for us. I don't know why you attacked there, but we're gonna wait here for our units to recover, and we'll send them there again. Now let me just see, we now have enough army experience, so could we boost you guys using, for example, the anti-tank? What would that do? Yep, we'll get infantry, anti-tank, and manpower. If we try to give you the air assault, it would be an issue, right? Yeah, we're missing the most important part, which is the attack helicopters. But wouldn't that really just mean that you guys turn into the Taishin Shudan? We have support artillery, engineering company, recon, and signal. Signal, artillery, recon, and engineer. Yeah, that's exactly the same thing. You are just slightly weaker. So we can just turn you into the Taishin Shudan, and there's no point in strengthening you. With that said, we could actually give you guys a little bit more infantry and make you slightly stronger, which would probably be a good choice. And eventually we would have motorized. I would like to give them motorized anti-air or self-propelled anti-air if we can design it, because that would be good, and a better recon company. That would definitely... Okay, so we'll work with the Taishin Shudan, and if we can actually get enough of these attack helicopters soon, we're actually building not even 2 per week, so it's gonna be quite a long trip. But if we can manage to do that, those are gonna be our expedition force. So Manchuria reports exceptional growth. The first of many economic reports was due to arrive at the Prime Minister's office today. As was by this point traditional, the first report came from Manchukuo. The puppet state in northern China had been governed by Yuan Zhenduo for some time. Yuan praised his brutal methods, which he considered the key to his success. Prime Minister Inov was in truth disinterested in the matter of who was responsible or how they had managed it. Only the contents of the report mattered to him. After receiving the report, which had been delivered to his residence directly from the airport, Ina began to read. 3 documents were stored in the dossier that had arrived on Ina's desk, with the first paper entitled The Economic Situation of the State of Manchukuo. Written in Ruan's surprisingly droll fashion, the free papers detailed the remarkable and rapid growth in the Manchurian economy. The steel industry, previously struggling to keep up with the demand, was now producing the necessary supply at a comfortable rate. The industrial sector was beginning to expand as well. It appeared that in a few years it would overtake the agrarian sector, once Manchukuo's only source of revenue. After years of slow progress, it appeared as if the Manchurian economy was seeing a boom. Ruan has that job for a reason. Well, I wonder if he's not faking it, because that is definitely an option. I think our economy is doing right? Yeah, Ryuji... Oh, we're even having a surplus now. Cool. Okay, so this debt to GDP already dropped. And if we keep this one up, we are actually going to be lowering the debt pretty rapidly. That would be by almost 3.5% per year. I will say I'm impressed. Okay, you guys need more manpower. 3%, okay, so you arrived. I'm gonna join these guys. So you get in here. And you're actually supposed... Huh. I cannot... Okay, now I can. I cannot shorten the border. Okay, so receiving reinforcements, we're gonna prepare for that attack again. And we'll launch it. The Conservative. Ikeda's routine was no different from a salaryman's. From the hour that he decided to go into the office to the evening times when he would go to work. Had he not lived near the Diet Building, no one would have guessed that he was the Minister of Justice. So unremarkable was he. Even less would know that he is practically the political heir of the Ino administration, should the government enter rough times. It seemed that the Prime Minister had set him up as the fall guy, but regardless, he strived to do his best. The sun set on Tokyo, her reddening light disappearing off the Yokohama harbor, while foghorns of ships sounded to signal arrivals and departures. Ikeda locked his office and carried his briefcase with a aplomb that only came after years of unceasing routine. Today was relentless. He talked to judges, police chiefs, and governors from every prefecture in Japan. He admitted that it may be too much to handle a serial killing. He admitted that it may be too much to handle a serial killing in Nagoya, while at the same time trying to persuade the Japanese High Court to see his way. But work was work. He looked forward to dinner with the Sato tonight, over at his house. Japanese politics was not friendly to newcomers. One had to make friends, sooner rather than later. Besides, Sato seemed to be a decent man, a bit sake-addled in his spare time, but a hard worker despite it. Maybe if Ikeda were to have his own ministry one day, he could find Sato a place to fit in. If? No. When? May the chips fall in his favor. So you guys need to get a little bit more of a preparation bonus. And we'll see what we can do. Oh boy. They are actually... Yep, they are attacking us pretty ruthlessly. And this is an urban area. Interesting. I'm thinking whether it would be best to counterattack here or defend. We're doing an amazing amount of damage here, but I think reinforcing here will be smarter. Jesus, they send in another division here. Come on. Yeah, but we need to commit more in here if we want to hold. The good news again is that they are bleeding out. The bad news is everything else. Okay, you guys, can you attack? Will that do any good? Well, it would do a little good. But not enough to... Okay, if we push out these two divisions, we'll be fine. You guys are holding. Yeah, we need more support here. The center of the sphere's workforce. China, with its large size and population, made for the perfect piece of... China, with its large size and population, made for the perfect place for industrial and agricultural development. Although already the second largest economy in the sphere, China's true economic potential was yet untapped. For this reason, much had been invested by both Japan itself and the local Chinese government to modernize the extensive areas of land available for use. It was a popular goal indeed, as most Japanese and Chinese politicians wished to see it completed as soon as possible. Let me just see the numbers here. Yeah, they have about 1/8 of our value. China already provided the absolute majority of workers for the entire sphere, providing Japan's power block with everything from weaponry to everyday electronics. These factories were owned by Japanese companies, using them to produce ubiquitous yet simple goods for maximum profit. The coastal cities had expanded greatly over the decades, but it was still the agrarian countryside that made up the largest part of the Chinese economy. Most of the sphere's food supply came from China, with most of the inland country still being used for aiding this purpose. It was the manner in which farming had conducted that had changed somewhat, however. While rural communities had once sustained their way of life through farming, corporations now control vast areas of land, using it to cultivate their produce on the widest possible scale. Entire villages could be employed by the same company, all working to produce the same foodstuff. Labor was kept cheap through the disposability of individual workers, who could be easily replaced by one of 10 who were desperate for work. The ratio of the system meant that there was seemingly always room for expansion, always more opportunity to open more factories or to expand the farmlands. It was becoming increasingly common for most sphere-based companies to center their centers of production in China. Here, as the CEOs put it, they could operate freely and without the nuisance of regulation that they faced back home. Indeed, they made use of China's difficult position to the very fullest. A difficult situation indeed. Okay. Okay, so the one unit, yeah, we're bleeding out manpower here like there's no tomorrow. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Despite the fact that we are attacking them and losing, the numbers keep increasing because we have our allies joining us. Okay, and now this is looking a bit more interesting, because we have gained the upper hand and we might actually be able to destabilize and push them out, and that would be great because that would give us the one and only airfield that they have to operate here. Okay, did the Navy arrive? You did. So could we potentially... Oh, we can. That is amazing. Okay, so the carrier fighter wings are superiority. And the Corsair support. We are going to make you pay what you've done to us. I mean, that is if it works. Because so far, they do not seem to be there. But we'll see. We'll see. The Chinese economy continues to struggle. The Republic of China was due to send in their economic report. Waiting for its arrival, Prime Minister Ino considered the situation in the breadbasket of the sphere to better understand the documents he was soon going to read. China's current value was in its ability to produce huge amounts of food that was needed in every part of the sphere. Despite this important purpose and its status as the second largest economy of the sphere, it was industrial expansion that was now the focus of both Nanjing and Tokyo. Intentions aside, industrialization had been slow going. Ino, like his predecessor, had insisted that the Chinese government focus their efforts on this purpose. As the dossier was placed on his desk, the Prime Minister hoped that his demanding tone had finally paid off. Ino's urgent and rapid reading quickly made him realize that his methods were futile. As he had in previous years, he felt a mixture of anger and disappointment. China had failed him once again. Industrialization was not in full swing, with some very unimpressive movement towards that goal. The agrarian sector of the economy had not changed radically either. The introduction of modern farming equipment and methods had done little to help ramp up the production. Only some of the very largest farms had truly begun to modernize. Only they could handle the dramatic shift between the old and the new ways so far. The Prime Minister, having finished reading, was now focused on finding an appropriate response to send to Nanjing. We make our demands clearer. Well, interesting. Okay, we could improve over here, but I wanted to see if we can further commit. We could send the Japanese advisors. Or sabotage the rebels. Or we could authorize the bombings, which doesn't cost us anything, so let's do that. And let me check, you can get some skills. No, you can't. Okay, so authorizing the bombing is a pretty good choice. Yeah, we're slowly winning the air superiority, but it looks like the carriers won't be able to operate here. Come on, push them out, you can do it. Come on, get in there. They're reinforcing. No, 2.2.1. Ah, come on. Well, but this unit will not stop us. Oh, snap. They reinforced again. Oh my god, but this time in vain. Yep. Once we take it, we will not lose it. I can guarantee that. Okay, well, maybe I spoke too soon. But yeah, look at that. It's gonna be much harder for them to do anything to us over there. Prime Minister of Australia resigns. Australian Labour Prime Minister Kim Bazley has resigned after a pork barrelling scandal claimed several high-profile members of the federal cabinet. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were funneled into marginal seats in a plot to steer the results in Labour favour. Beasley was not implicated, but cited his failure to turn the searchlight of absolute honesty onto his party as the reason for his resignation. Dr. Herbert V. Ewat? I'm not sure how this name would be pronounced. A leading member of the ALP's left faction has been chosen as the party's interim leader, making him the current Prime Minister of Australia. A erratic former High Court judge will preside over the government until its parliamentary caucus convenes to elect the man who will carry it to the upcoming snap election. However, Labour's poor performance in nationwide opinion polls and U.S. declining health have stirred rumors of a leadership challenge. Don't let the revolving door hit you on the backside. So what's going on in Australia? AOP, Reformist Socialism. HV Hewitt. Okay, well, interesting. Interesting. So we have advanced, and I wanted to see, could we turn you into the Teishin Shudan now? Or are we still short? No, we're still short, and we're gonna be short because we're not producing enough of them. Okay, so there's not gonna be much of a choice here, other than making sure that we... Okay, but from this area we can actually push at these guys once the attack stalls. Because they seem to be very poorly holding in here. Okay, the Big Red 1 division, and this is an airfield, which means that they do not have any possibility of support here, which means we can search for... Well, that's a tactical bomber. I was hoping for... Those are fighters and interceptors. Okay, care to tell me where my Coast Air support is? Tactical bombers. Maybe we don't have any Coast Air support. Have I thought about that? Yeah, we don't. Okay, so what I can do here is tactical bombers. We have, I think, or I feel like we have way too many wings and we cannot... They're all rookies anyway. So let me just disband them. Wait, quick deploy, nope. Disband Arwing, here it is. So goodbye. And it's a strategic bomber. Tactical interceptor and fighter. Because I want to send in the... No, I have any more. 13 tactical bombers, 13 tactical bomb. Yeah, we have. Okay, so we have 4 air wings here. And we can. You know what? Let me just disband all of you. And let me see, these are some. Okay, so I have these 3 air wings, and I'm gonna disband 2, and then one that actually survived is going to be sent over there. Lipetsk prison breakout. Despite limited information, the German Reichskommissariat Moscovian lets out of its borders, the news about its most recent failure in governments have spread well beyond the borders of Einheitspacht. Ivan Vorobyov, a former Red Army soldier and German collaborator turned partisan, escaped from a Moscovian Lipetsk prison in a bold breakout staged by unidentified forces. The broader Lipetsk region, formerly a hotbed of resistance, has since experienced a dramatic rise in insurgent activity, with many other regions reporting similar issues. Siegfried Kasche, the Reichskommissar of Moscovian, has already made several executive orders to quell the spread of disorder using his signature methods. Germania has refused to comment. Destiny Call is as loud as it can be. Okay, so no enemy aircraft are actually flying here, so we can send you back home now that you are at full, and I'm gonna have you drill, while the tactical bombers are gonna take care of this. Now you move nowhere. You stay here and defend. Can you attack? Yes, you can. Uraggio Brawl. Recent reports of rioting in villages on the outskirts of Uraggio. That's Vladivostok, right? Uraggio. Wait. It's all the way up here. Yes, that is Vladivostok. On the outskirts of Uraggio have flocked in from news agencies following disagreements between settler inhabitants of Outer Manchuria and Russian natives. What began as a series of disputes over rights to land in the region has since escalated into violent outbursts of chaos that now ravages small sections of the countryside in a handful of towns just north of the city. Police are reporting details of revenge killings against settler inhabitants, many of whom are Japanese citizens. The local garrison had been requested by the Outer Manchurian authorities to help control, and the local police commissioner has put out a statement regarding the perpetrators as no better than the anarchists of the north. These comments follow the uncovering of a particularly brutal scene in which elderly veterans of the Greater East Asia War had been murdered in the street. The recent violence and historic tensions between settlers and natives of Outer Manchuria can find its origins in issues of social and economic disparity, but local governments insist that the disputes are the fault of simple miscommunication gone wrong. However, many are skeptical of these statements and defame them as methods to inoculate the Russians from blame in their own barbarism against the Japanese. Well, okay. So let us see how the battle over here ends. And then we can actually end the episode. Okay, that's a mountain province. Got it. Yeah, we definitely need to transform these units into a bit more of an effective force. Okay, goodbye blue sky. And with these guys in, we might actually try to cut through here and encircle these divisions. It would make a whole lot of sense to do that if it worked. How's the economy? Our yearly surplus is actually growing. Real GDP growth is dropping a little bit, but debt to GDP is dropping as well. That's really nice. By the end of the year, we might be at 100%. And Bengali textiles I'm gonna save for the next episode. So thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in the next episode. And before I forget, these are the tactical bombers, so you can actually go here and provide closer support, which should work. It is, and we are damaging the enemy divisions. Amazing. So see you in the next one.